Hey guys, so today we're going to learn how to make a haptic feedback on an object. It's actually relatively simple to do, and we're just going to go over it in these few minutes. So to start with, I've set up empty scene, empty project. All I've done is I've imported Steam VR and put in the camera rig prefab. Now once we've done that, I'm just going to create a 3D object cube here, and I'm just going to position it a little bit to the side and down, just so we have an object that we can actually interact with in the scene. So now that we've done that, I want you guys to create a new script, C# and call it Haptic Touch. So I've already created it for your convenience, so I'm just going to pull it up right here and let's take a look. So if you followed our other tutorials on controller input, you should be pretty familiar with the tracked object and the device. So these lines, I'm just going to leave. I'll leave a link in the comments if you aren't sure exactly how this works. But basically, we just want to see which device the script is on, and we're going to act on it based off that. So the only new thing is this boolean that we have, haptic flag. So what this is doing is in the update function, it's constantly checking to see if haptic tag is true. If the haptic flag is true, we trigger the haptic pulse, strength 500. So this strength can range anywhere from 0 to 4,000, and basically the higher it is, the more intense the actual pulse is. So what we're doing is we're saying on trigger enter, we're going to set this flag to true, and if it's true, it's going to trigger the pulse. On trigger exit, we set it to false, and it'll stop triggering. Obviously, this is relatively simple implementation. When you guys are doing this in your games, you might want to compare tag, you might even want to use collisions instead of triggers in case some of your objects you don't want the actual hand to go through them. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we're just going to stick with this. So once you guys have this all down, let's go back to the scene, and the only thing we're going to have to do is make sure that our box is actually a trigger. And the next thing we're going to have to do is shift select your controller left to controller right and drag the haptic touch onto them. Once you've done that, if you press play, you should be able to put your controller inside the cube, and when you do, you will receive a haptic pulse until you actually move it out. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know, and I'll be sure to respond. Once again, this was a relatively simple implementation on haptic touch through objects. Thank you.